I think the soul of a nation and the soul of the church are at stake in the struggle for LGBTQ rights. The soul of the U.S. depends on delivering on the promises of the Constitution. A promise that for so long is a check still returning for so many insufficient funds.
One of my questions is, what has happened to us that natural allies, oppressed people, have allowed ourselves to be separated? My own experience and my own theology of what informs how I am and what I preach and what I try to do goes back to Genesis, to the first chapter of Genesis, to the 27th verse, where it says that we're all created in the image of God. It's just that simple. And that means God looks like all of us. Wow. That's very threatening for some people. It's very threatening for some people. But yet that is the reality.
We are now the first major denomination with a statement, an affirming National Assembly statement on transgender identity. It's, again, something that I feel greatly proud of in our Unitarian Universalist tradition and history. Bearing witness requires us to cross our comfort zones, to take risks in standing up for what is right. We cannot reach for the stars if our dreams are too small. This is true about us as individuals, it's true about us as congregations, it is true about us as religious movements.
I came across a young man in my church named, we'll call him Tommy. To my horror, Tommy was gay. I didn't know Southern Baptists could be gay. So basically, I told Tommy, well, Tommy, you know, you're sinning, you can't do this. And he said he wanted to change. He wanted to become heterosexual. And I said, well, do you believe in Jesus? Of course he does. Are you willing to repent? Yes, he was. So, I mean, we prayed, we fasted, we cast out the demon of homosexuality. A couple of years go by, and Tommy's still gay. Tommy didn't change, but I did. And what I learned was that the sin that I needed to wrestle with was the sin of heterosexuality. That is, my sin of imposing my sexual orientation on everybody else.
Every spring, we have a festival in Judaism where we spend a lot of time talking about our own slavery. It was over around 3,000 years ago, and we're still talking about it. And we go through the story in detail. We spend all night sitting around talking about this story. And the reason that we do it is that we are told we have got to hold this memory dear. We have got to remember what it was like to be a viciously oppressed people. Our constant reminder of ourselves as former slaves is not meant to be reveling in our own past oppression. It's to remind ourselves that we are obligated to continue to fight for the powerless.
You can't be a holy person if you're out of relationship with yourself and with your neighbor. You don't have a soul. And if the church is out of relationship with its own commitment to the beauty and preciousness of each created human being, then we don't know who we are. And we don't understand that this is a struggle for social holiness. It is the soul of the country that is at stake. But then there's the promise. There's the promise. The promise of the Constitution and the promise of faith. And your job and my job is to get people to live up to that promise. This is a high and holy calling